place like Myanmar. She had done war-torn. She had done devastated. But this living under tyranny thing was a super bummer. The Myanmarese, Myanmartians, she called them in her head, the stenoglyph was an M with an ovoid helmet and antennae, spent all their energy protecting what little they had or avoiding persecution. There was nothing left over for hope. And no one on the outside cared that much, or was even sure of its name. Was it called Burma, which had something to do with Orwell, or Myanmar, which sounded like a name cats would give their country? The rest of the world just avoided this place, as on the street you'd avoid a stinking pantsless drunk. Because where would you even begin? And where was that stupid little colonel? Leila was running low on anti-impatience techniques. The room seemed to have been designed to distill boredom and discomfort and focus it on the occupant. It was like being under some sort of time-stretching ray. There was the stippled layer of dust on everything. There was nothing to read but the no smoking sign. There was one plastic fan in the corner, its electrical cord shorn off as if with a serrated knife. Smells seeped from the wooden benches and plastic blinds, cigarette smoke and greasy food and the vapors emitted by anxious humans. Once she had done all she could reasonably do on the workflow chart, Leila just sat and thought about her family. A low-level concern for them had been rising in her lately. Roxana had written that their kid brother Dylan's new GF was a battle axe. Dylan hadn't mentioned a girl to Leila. Also, according to Roxana, their mother had had 2 suspicious falls in the last 9 months, the second one resulting in a broken wrist. Leila couldn't tell by email how exactly Roxana had meant suspicious, like neurologically or alcoholically. She noted again that no one ever informed on Roxana like this. Birth order did seem to trump the other personality predictors, Leila thought. Would that be forever? What about after their parents died? How far away was that? None of the Majnoun children had spawned yet. Was that breaking their parents' hearts? Her mom's, yes, probably. But her dad was a beloved middle school principal in Tarzana, California. Maybe that job satisfied some of his grand paternal needs. Leila decided she would wait 10 more minutes and then go in search of someone. Maybe Colonel Zaya himself. Though good luck finding that guy. He must have an office in every dingy little government building in Mandalay, and a henchman to keep people out of each one. This was the 3rd time that Leila had been promised her shipment, a shipment that represented 6 months of work on her part. But this was the first time she had actually been brought to the airport. On the previous occasions, she had been summoned to the terrestrial passage entry station behind the clamorous bus depot, and those had turned out to be shakedowns, demands for the payment of newly discovered taxes and import duties. Most NGOs allowed for a certain amount of this, but Helping Hand was not playing along. New York said that to do so would abet endemic corruption. Or perhaps this was just Boss 1 screwing with Boss 2, and at first refused to release the funds that might win Leila her shipment. Only by haranguing Boss 3 was Leila able to convince HQ that the extra money was, in this case, a cost of doing business. Still, Leila had moved similar shipments hundreds of times. This was a container of palletized medical equipment, 14 short tons that she'd coaxed without incident from Miami to Doha to Yangon and then to Naypyidaw, the bizarre new capital that the generals had erected suddenly in the middle of the country. But then her shipment had been waylaid and effectively ransomed by an invisible mafia of Myanmarese customs officers who could be reached only by phone, and even then only via their underlings' phones. Once Leila figured out which government building contained the Department of Leila Antagonism, she and her driver, Aung Hla, took the half-day trip to Naypyidaw and attempted a frontal assault. But the stupidly hatted officials she located, though shocked that she'd found them, only asked her to return with obscurer forms and more exact change. She worried that her shipment was getting picked through and pilfered from. It was high-end stuff. If the bozos at HQ had their way, the crates would probably be stamped expensive and already lost, and sorry about colonialism. Worrying about it kept her up.